Hello everyone and welcome back to eCabinets Tips and Tricks. My name is Scott Marshburn and today I want to do a tutorial on how to export models that are drawn up in Sketchup as a STL file in the eCabinets to use as a display object. There was a question on the eCabinets forum. Rick had a question on how to export Sketchup files as a STL file in the eCabinets. The first thing that you want to do whenever you download a model that someone else drew is to check this thing out to see if it is grouped or not and how it's grouped, because what you have to do is you have to export each component that you want to have a different texture on separately. So when I loaded this model, I clicked on a face here and I could tell immediately that none of this is grouped as separate groups. Now if I click on this emblem here, this emblem or monogram or whatever or nameplate, that is a group. In reality, that's how the models need to be drawn up if you're drawing them yourself. If not, you have to go through and group all these different details here that you want different colors, and luckily this is all going to be pretty much a stainless steel look. So what I'm going to do in order to quickly do this is I'm going to triple click on the entire, which will highlight everything that is touching one another, all the lines, all the faces. As you can see, the faces have a hashed pattern there, and all the lines are solid lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to deselect, or selecting in everything that I want to be black here, which will unhighlight those faces. I can even go so far as double clicking, which will unhighlight the lines also. See, these lines were unhighlighted there, which is fine. Now what I want to do is I want to export these knobs here as a separate entity also, just in case I want a different texture. And these right here, I may want to export this whole handle assembly as one. So I'm going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to double click on these to deselect those. It's a little bit tedious to do something like this that has not been grouped, but that's pretty much what you have to do. If you don't, everything's going to be imported into eCabinets as one unit, and you won't be able to apply different textures. It does not send the actual textures that have been applied in SketchUp. Now, there is one thing. I'll have my coordinates on here. Let me see. I need to show my axis. Okay, we're on our axis here. When you send this into eCabinets, if you send it in there just like it is, it's going to be completely upside down. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make this a group. Okay, so that's all one group right there, everything that we selected. And I'm going to go ahead and come in here and select our knobs. Now in this video I'm not going to worry about these words here, this text. If you want to do that, you would go through the same process. Now I can just simply click on or triple click, and it's not going to highlight these groups we just made. So 1, 2, 3, hold down my shift key, right click, make a group. Get that little button right there, make a group. Do the same thing with these. That I'm not worried about. Make group. Could make all these one group here if you wanted to. And group. Make group. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and do this one. I'm going to select these right here because we're going to want them all the same texture also. Click on all these. I'm going to make that a group. All that's one group. And I can click on you and hold down my shift key and make that a group. So now I need to get this handle here. And these right here, hold down my shift key, triple click. Do the same thing with this one. And make a group. So all that's grouped. Now, this right here, it's going to be the same color. Now, if you wanted that glass right there a different color, you would make that a separate group. This is already a group, and everything on it is, this will automatically be black here, so I'm not worried about that. I don't think. Now, what I want to do is I want to rotate this thing completely upside down. So I'm going to highlight everything. Let's see, we didn't never make that a group, so we need to make our black stuff a group here. So make that a group. And actually, well, let's do it like this. Triple click to make sure. Make that a group. Make that a group. And make that a group. So there we go. I think we got everything. Like I said, I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to rotate it. It's like I said, in eCabinets, it'll come in upside down. This is actually, up here is the floor in eCabinets. Down here, in other words, this would be on the floor. This would be facing up. So I'm going to get my rotate tool here in the red direction. I'm going to hold down my shift key to lock it, and I'm just going to flip this thing completely upside down. I didn't want to do that. Why is it 2 units there? Rotate, hold down my shift key, there we go, all the way over. Let's see, 180 degrees. I'm going to type in 180 and hit enter, and there we go. Now I can move this back if I want. In the green direction, my 0 location. That is not that critical, but and which way it's facing is not that critical because it's going to be rotated when it goes into eCabinets anyhow. So now what we need to do is export it into eCabinets. So I got a plugin here under my tools menu called Export DXF or STL. This is a free plugin I got off the Ruby Library Depot, and it works real well. I use it all the time. I'm going to, when you click on it, it's asking you for the export unit. I want inches, and I want STL, and I'll click OK. Now I've got a in Documents, I've got a folder called Sketchup STLs. Okay, I'm gonna make a new folder here, and I'm gonna name this Oven. And you can name it whatever you want. I'm gonna hit enter. I'm gonna double click, and I'm going to open that folder, and I'm going to name this. Actually, you know what? I got everything highlighted, so that ain't good. Let's do this. I'm going to click on you, just the carcass here, and go to Tools, Export DXF, STL, Inches, OK, STL, OK. I got my folder. Oven. And I'm going to name this carcass or cabinet or whatever. And type .stl. You have to remember that you have to put that .stl in the file name or it won't export properly. And I'm going to click save. And it tells you what's been exported and what hasn't. Now I'm going to click on View, hold down my Shift key, and click on View. Let me get rotated here where we can see everything. Everything that I want black, I'm going to export as one unit. Now if you wanted these a little bit different, you need to export each individual one different separately, or else it would come out all the same. So now I'm going to do the same thing. STL, and I'm just going to put trim on here, black trim. .stl. Support it that you type .stl. Okay, now for the knobs, these knobs here. Export, Tools, don't want lines, I want STL, and we're going to put large knobs. STL, and save. And now we're going to click on these knobs here, which gets all those, and Tools and STL, export STL, inches, STL, small knobs. STL. Save. Okay, now for our little emblem here. Let's just put Nameplate. STL. And save. So now we got everything exported. except for this. Let's do this. Tools, export, and handle. .stl and save. Okay, so that's it for that. And like I said, this needs to be rotated like this, or else you're going to have to rotate it when you take it into eCabinets. So now the only thing we need to do is to go into eCabinets and into the display part editor and start loading our files. Okay, now we're in eCabinets and we want to go to the display part editor, this little icon right here, and we want to load STL-HSF. I'm going to click on my folder oven. Okay, and I'm going to start out with the carcass and I'm going to open it. Now you can see it comes in here black, and that's by default. This is so that you can apply whatever textures you want to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. Well, first let's bring in some more here so I can show you something. Let's bring in the handle. Well, let's do it one at a time. We got the carcass, the handle, open it, STL, carcass handle, large knobs, open, small knobs, open, nameplate, open, black trim, open, black trim, carcass handles, large knobs, nameplate, and small knobs. Okay, so we got everything loaded in here. Now, if you rotate this around, it's hard to see each individual thing unless you just happen to get it just right. But if you right click, you look up here, it says part number 0. It starts naming the parts from 0, and then the next part you loaded would be 1. If you see, I right clicked on that handle, it says part number 1. If I right click on the large knobs, that would be number 2. But first, let's get some textures in here. Let's right click on the carcass here, and I'm going to use appearances and settings. This is a preset, or you can even create your own of different finishes, and you can play with this until you find one that you like. You got dull metal, brushed bronze, aluminum 1. I'm going to use aluminum 1, and I'm going to load the selected appearance. Now you can see that the carcass and everything is actually like that. Now you could play with this gloss and specular and mirror. You can even, play with the colors there. I'm going to leave all this the same. Now I need to right click on this handle here, and you can see that it says part 1, and I'm going to go to appearances and settings. I'm going to just select another one here. Let's see. Let's do just a dull metal, and load selected, and that appears to be real close to the same thing, but we'll see when we get it in to eCabinets. Now I'm going to right click on that, that's number 2, and I'm going to go appearances and settings and see what steel 1 looks like. Okay, so that's a little bit different. Let's put this the same thing. Let's go load. Oh, wrong thing. Appearances and settings is what I want. I had those at steel 1, so let's select the same thing there. Steel 1 and load. So that's different there, and these knobs here, and right click. Okay, that should be 3. I'm going to click steel 1 and load selected appearance. There's those. Now the nameplate here, I'm going to select image, or not image, I'm sorry. Appearances and settings. And let's pick steel 1 with it for it too, so that it'll just stand out. And like I said, you play with these until you find one that suits you. These right here are black already, so I don't think we really need to change those. So that pretty much has everything. I'm going to click on save, and I'm going to click my directory, and I'm going to go to eCabinet tips demos HSFs, click OK, and I'm going to name this bricks oven, and OK. So now we have that. We can go into our custom layout here and just draw us a wall here, a random wall. And we can go to our display objects, find the under right here, and there's Rick's oven. And as you can see, it brought it in here, but it is facing the wall, so I'm going to rotate that. Edit options, rotate object, and I think we're wanting the Y, nope, not the Y, the V direction, 180 degrees. Enter and close or OK. Now I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to move this right up next to the wall there. And I'm going to go ahead while I'm here, and I'm going to wall options and associate to wall. I can bring up my elevation view here, and we see our oven is in the room. You may have to adjust the height or whatever, but let's see what it looks like when we render it. Rotate it around. And presentation view. Now I don't have any lighting in here, but you can see what it looks like, and that looks pretty good to me. So the only other thing that you would do probably, or that I would do, would be to actually take this unit here, since it looks like it may be a built-in for a tall oven cabinet or something, and I would actually put that in a cabinet. Now if you haven't viewed my tutorial on how to place a sink in a cabinet and custom layout, I believe you might want to look at placing a sink in a cabinet in custom layout part 2 and or part 3, because this will make doing it that way will make things a lot easier on you, and you'll be able to just grab that cabinet, put it in the room, and this oven will automatically be in it. So that's it for this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel so you can get all the latest tips and tricks, and thank you for watching, and have a good day.